What it do, fam? We about to do this bitch for another one. Check this out. We about to hit him over. We about to hit him over the head with this good one from Willie D. Y'all know big homie Willie D. You know, ghetto boy. Dun, 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 dun. Now y'all probably don't know nothing about that. Y'all niggas don't listen to nothing but Lil Uzi Vert and Extra Squirt. We're about to get into this video with Willie D talking about Nolan Wales case and what's happening with Nolan, man. Justice for Nolan, man. Justice for Nolan.
That his case could finally reach a grand jury within the next 30 days. What the hell is taking so long? That's what I want to know. I need to know that, fam. Think about that. Nolan disappeared on July 4th. His body was recovered July 6th. The state autopsy has been completed for weeks. Authorities have interviewed witnesses. There are photographs, there are videos, there's phone records, GPS information, and other evidence investigators can pursue. And we're still talking about potentially waiting until September before a grand jury gets this case. And we're not just talking about September 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. This could go all the way into the middle of September. Now the district attorney is saying that investigators aren't taking time just for the sake of taking time. She says they're doing the work necessary to conduct a thorough investigation. Okay, fine. But at some point, we're being thorough stops answering the question. What exactly are we still waiting for? Because if we're still trying to get answers and you're telling the public the grand jury might hear it within 30 days, that means this case could be approaching 2 months old before grand jurors even begin reviewing it. Fam, do you know how much evidence can get lost in 2 months? Do you know how much evidence can get lost in 2 months? Do you know how many?
This is why they dragging their feet. I know people might say that they got to do their job and they got to do this and they got to do that. And if you're not an investigator, you don't know. You got fucking Coon Boon Tatum on there talking about, I was an officer and I like, bro, it's a lot of police out there and they're not great police officers. It does not take a fucking doctorate to become a police officer. It doesn't. All you gotta do is just be tough and a little fucking racist, and you're on the force. And I mean that with all sincerity. Not all police are bad, but the majority of them are bad. 90% of police are fucking bad. 10% is actually trying to help people and really want to help. The other 90% don't care. They don't care. Small town police officers, I'm not talking about you. Small town sheriffs, I'm not talking about you. But large industrial police forces, stations, I'm talking to you. They're dragging their feet because they're trying to make this case go away. They're dragging their feet because something happened and they know. But they're trying to help these boys clean it up. Nothing about this is procedure. Nothing about this says we're doing our best to find out what happened to Nolan. I think they're doing their best to make sure no one finds out what happened to Nolan. That's my opinion. I have a right to my opinion. It's not defamation. I didn't say nobody did nothing. All I said was my opinion is they're trying to cover it up. What are they trying to cover up? Nolan's death. How he died. Who did it and why they did it. So we can keep playing Mickey Mouse games and keep playing, I don't know, maybe, blah, blah. And it doesn't matter about culture or race, right? We are all human beings and we should all want the same for anybody. He was a young man. He wasn't a troublemaker. He deserves justice. And whoever did it is a murderer. Can we just say that one more time? Whoever did this is a murderer. It's probably won't be the last time they kill if they get away with this one. Yeah, that's usually how it works. Just saying. I digress. Let's see what OG Willie talking about. Go ahead and get him, Willie.
Slips in 2 months. How people just forget stuff. How people go missing. Yeah. Sometimes they end up dead. In Mississippi, they turned up dead. In Mississippi, they turn up dead. You dig? And I don't think it's unreasonable to ask, why is this taking so damn long?
Yes, I swear. Listen, so oh god, it's not fucking rocket science. If you got eyes and ears and you can fucking see what's going on, you can clearly understand what they're doing. They're doctoring the autopsy. They're trying to get rid of as much fucking evidence as they can, and not necessarily get rid of it, right? They don't want to dispose of anything, because if they get caught disposing of anything, that can definitely lead to a guilty, right? So what they're doing is, and this is my opinion, what they're doing is they're trying to wait the time out so that evidence is inconclusive. When they do get it, it has been so long that like whatever was there that they could figure out has deteriorated, has decomposed. This is tissue. It's not going to last forever. Decomposition is a part of the whole process, and they know this. So they're waiting. They're waiting. They're holding vital pieces to this whole situation. We could have been knew the cause of death a long time ago, but they won't give up the throat, and they won't give up parts of the lungs. This is what so if he can come to the same conclusion, right? Everybody is looking and coming to the same conclusion. We know what y'all doing. We see it. Holy fuck. Get him, Willie. Get him, Willie.
Nothing about it. That state autopsy has since been completed. And now, according to Mississippi Public Broadcasting, an attorney representing Nolan's family says the grand jury review could happen within approximately 30 days. So we're not criticizing prosecutors for refusing to use a grand jury. They said they're going to use one. The criticism is, why in the hell is it taking so long? I got a simpler question. When? And why isn't there more of an urgency here? And let me make something real clear, family, because I already know somebody is going to deliberately misunderstand what I'm saying. Sending this case to a grand jury does not mean arrest Nolan's friends. Although I think that they should be drilled and grilled, tossed and turned. It doesn't mean indict somebody. It doesn't mean declare this a murder. A grand jury is supposed to review the evidence and determine whether there's probable cause to bring criminal charges. Simple as that. And the grand jury can hear evidence that the public hasn't seen. That's exactly why I want them to see it. Let the evidence go somewhere beyond the same agencies that's been controlling the investigation. Put the witnesses under oath, where appropriate, of course. Present the medical evidence. Present the digital evidence. Present the timeline. Present the boat information. Present the photographs. Present the video.
So Brendan Tatum thought that he was gonna go out there. This is what kills me. Brendan Tatum thought he was gonna go out there, and with his influence on the internet, he was just gonna say these boys didn't do nothing. This is an open and shut case. I went there. I heard the testimony, and I'm here to tell you that nothing happened. And I mean, something obviously happened, but these boys didn't do it. Right. But you don't even like being a black person. So what the fuck are you even speaking about a black kid doing anything? You don't even want to be black. That's what you said for what you said. So why is you even in black people business? I don't get it. Like somebody needs to make a real like a PSA for him. Like, bro, you don't want to be it. You don't fuck with it. So mind your fucking business. It's that simple. Don't get on there talking about, well, I'm a black man, but I'm American first. And my kids can't call themselves black people. They Americans. We American. But then when some shit happen and it involves black people, then you a black person. I think you should just pick a side, right? You can be a black American. You definitely can be a black American. You could be an American black. You can be whatever the fuck you want to be. Obviously, we seeing guys going to the WNBA. Little boys can be little girls. You can be anything you want to be. We live in Zootopia, okay? You can be a sly fox or you can be a witty bunny, okay? You can be whatever you want to be here in Zootopia. But I just want to say, I think people like you should mind your business. If it's not the type of black people or a type of Americans that you think deserve your attention, then I think that that's who you should be more worried about. Um, real quick, real quick, real quick, real quick. I seen a clip of him talking about the Rosa Parks situation, right? And it's so funny because his thing was, well, you know, Rosa Parks had a car. You know, Rosa Parks had a car. Why would they stage that? Why would they do this? Why would they do that? It was all staged. It was all fake. Uh, the irony of it is, it was fake and it was staged. He's not lying about that. He's actually telling the truth. But here's where he waters it down. The young lady that was the story was originally about was a young lady. I believe she was maybe in her teens, maybe early 20s. She wanted being pregnant. She was a pregnant young lady, and it just wouldn't look good for the movement, her being so young and being pregnant. So what they decided to do was use Rosa Parks, someone that was a little older, mature, married. She was basically a perfect fit for the face of this movement. And so they went, had her sit on the front of the bus, and they took the famous picture that we see today. Yes, it was a staged photo. Okay? It was a staged photo. But that does not mean in any way that African Americans, blacks, melanated Americans, whatever you call yourself, wasn't being discriminated on those bus lines. And what made it so much sweeter is that we had our own bus lines at the time. So you could ride the black buses. You didn't have to take the white buses. So boycotting the white buses didn't mean that black people had to walk everywhere they went. That just meant that we just didn't take that bus line, which made more money for the black bus lines. And white folks didn't like that. So Mr. Tatum is once again lying, right? A little bit of truth and a whole lot of fluff. Slavery, he goes over that shit. You know, it's a lot. If you educate yourself, you know better, you'll do better. He's going to hit you with some truth, and then he's going to fluff it up with a whole lot of propaganda. I digress. I just wanted to put that out there. I hope you see it. If you guys understand any of this information, you like it, hit the subscribe, hit the likes. Let's get into it.
Present the girlfriend. Yeah, the side pieces. All of that. Put the whole damn case in front of them. If they look at everything and conclude there isn't probable cause for criminal charges, that's one thing. We're not even there yet, fam. We're waiting to get to the people who can make the state autopsy is complete, y'all. That was confirmed at the end of July. Yet, the public hasn't been told the official cause and manner of death because prosecutors say those results will remain withheld until the grand jury reviews the case. Okay, but follow the logic. If you're withholding the autopsy because you're waiting for the grand jury and we're waiting another month for the grand jury, then everybody is trapped inside the same waiting game. The family can't see the official conclusions, the public can't see them, and the grand jurors haven't reviewed them. Meanwhile, everybody keeps waiting. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. Wait, 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 wait. At some point, somebody is going to have to explain what the hell we're waiting on. Don't just simply tell us we're.
You know what we waiting on, OG. We waiting on them to cover up their shit, get their story together. They want this shit to die down. That's what they doing. So they getting mad at people like us that keep covering the story and putting shit in the algorithm. They don't want us. They want it to be like, hey, shut up, be quiet, so we can just sweep it under the rug and just make it disappear. They have the people to do it. They have enough power to make it disappear. But because it's such a national story now and it's gaining more and more headlines and the stories aren't adding up and people want to know what happened to Nolan, they're in hot water now. Now they have to produce something. And those boys know that this is not going to go away no time soon. And now they're famous. And it's not the type of famous they want to be, but they're definitely famous now. So your time is up. They need to figure it out. Drop the information. We know we kind of already figured out what happened. We got the TikTok lady, she already didn't bust the case open. Nancy didn't bust the case. So they didn't bust the case open like 3 or 4 times already, but they just refuse to take the evidence as what it is. They refuse. I digress. I'll be back in a second with the information about the young lady that helped start the Montgomery, Alabama bus boycott. I got you. Let's go. Let's get it.
What are you waiting for? And here's the
My tea?
crazy part, fam, if you ain't already heard the crazy part, if I haven't already revealed the craziest part. There is evidence that apparently still hasn't been fully resolved. Nolan's cell phone has reportedly not undergone the agreed forensic examination because the family and the DA's office have been disputing the logistics and protocol for how the examination should be conducted. Now, think about that. More than a month after Nolan died, we're arguing over how to examine his phone. And why is that? Because the family don't trust the DA. The family don't trust law enforcement, and for good reason. Law enforcement in Mississippi is among the worst of the worst on planet Earth, and they've been good at being the worst for decades, one might say centuries. They don't even try to improve. Mississippi is just crawling with uncivilized mutts. The ones who are the worst are not the regular redneck backwoods, no teeth, the ones who run around screaming out the N word. They ain't the worst. The worst are the ones who own those private boats and yachts, got a bunch of land, they got stocks, they go to take their kids to the private schools, they got access and options.
Yes, sir.
They play polo, lacrosse. Yeah. They're the worst because they use their privilege, they use their money to circumvent justice all the time.
Yes, sir.
From July 4th, we need to know that. Those phone records need to be checked, all of them, not just Nolan's. All of his friends, including Katie, and anybody else who may have come in contact with him that day. Anybody stepping up talking about, yeah, I talked to Nolan that day and da da da. Let's see those phone records. Everybody is a suspect. And let me tell you something. If I was his friend and I know I ain't did nothing, I would welcome being a suspect because at least I know they're suspecting everybody. Everybody getting the same treatment. And if I had to get that treatment, if I had to be considered a suspect in order for my buddy to get justice, then make me a damn suspect too. Go ahead and investigate. Knock yourself out. We need to know what was deleted, if anything. What can forensic experts recover? What I'm trying to figure out, fam, is how in the hell are we one more month into a young man losing his life and we still are arguing about how to examine his phone? That's not adding up to me. That's not adding up. And the family's saying one thing and the DA's office is saying another thing. I tend to believe the family because the family don't have a history of lying like the DA's office does. So I trust the family over the DA's office any day. Nobody should be demanding that this investigation is closed until we get all the answers. Put all of the chips on the table, man. Investigate everybody because Nolan should not have to continue to wait for justice. And his family need answers as to what happened.
What happened to Nolan, man? They definitely need answers. I don't know why motherfuckers is playing games and keep on acting like they don't understand or they don't know what's going on. But we all understand. We all know what's going on. We can see this shit happening. Something happened to him. And I personally don't think that he tripped, fell, and drowned on accident, because if he did, it wouldn't be so much resistance. It could be a straightforward answer the questions. Open book. I mean, there's nothing for us to have to hide. But all of these things that's coming up, all of these weird ass accusations, all of this weird behavior by the quote unquote best friends makes no sense, okay? And it doesn't seem like they're trying to get to the bottom of what happened. It seems like they're trying to throw a shade or blanket over everyone's eyes so that we don't understand or we can't figure it out. And then we'll just tell you what we want to tell you, and then you should just go for it, right? Then you should just say, okay, well, that's what they said. You know, these boys are accountable, so I'm gonna just listen. And I think that's not how it works. Okay, I don't think that that's how it works. So, what I was talking about earlier with the Montgomery boycott and Brandon Tatum, one thing that he did say, like I said, was true. Rosa Parks had a car, and Rosa Parks wasn't. I don't know if he said this part, but Rosa Parks wasn't the actual person that the Montgomery boycott actually started or gained traction. Okay. I did speak on it earlier, and I didn't want to leave you guys with very vague information as if I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just speaking on something because I do know exactly what I'm talking about. The young woman I was referring to, name is Claudette Colvin, and this happened on March 2nd, 1955, at just 15 years old. I told you she was a young lady. She was arrested in Montgomery, Alabama, for refusing to give up her bus seat to a white passenger at an action she took 9 months before Rosa Parks was arrested. Okay, so this was something that was happening, but she was young and she was pregnant, and so it wasn't a good look, right? So they wanted to make it. They needed somebody to be the face. And Rosa Parks winded up being the one they chose to be the face. The arrest sparked. Okay, so she refused to move to the back of the bus. This Oh, so she refused to move to the back of the bus, stating that her constitutional rights gave her the right to stay seated. Legal roles. She was one of the core plaintiffs in Browder versus Gale. The federal court case successfully ruled Montgomery's bus segregation unconstitutional. Why Parks became the icon. Civil rights organizers ultimately chose Rosa Parks as the symbolic face for the wider Montgomery bus boycott because Parks was an adult secretary for the NAACP with deep community ties. So that's what happened. She was not the actual person that set it off. She was not the actual person even in the lawsuit, as you can see. It was Claudette. She started it. She was the person that was arrested first. She was the one that sparked the whole uproar. And then it was staged for Rosa to go and get into a situation on this bus so that then they can have more fuel and more fire to push this boycott and address these issues with segregation and the racism that was happening on the bus lines. So for him to say it wasn't because of race and racism don't exist and racism still doesn't exist, that's malarkey. It's pure malarkey. Racism still exists, just not on the same level. I think that's due to people being more conscious and wanting to be good Christians and actually practicing what they preach. But when we have a system of people that feel like they can get away with doing things and not being held accountable for them, is where white privilege comes in. I'm not saying all white people are privileged. There are poor white people and they get no recognition. They call them white trash. They don't look forward to them being anything or having anything, and they are the larger group that's on welfare. But we somehow believe that if you're white, you're rich, you have great credit, you just, and that's not, it's not the truth. It's not the truth. They have disenfranchised white folks too. So what Brandon Tatum does is he's taking information and he's using it to basically attack his own culture. He made the statement that black people sold themselves into slavery. Africans sold other Africans into slavery. It wasn't white folks, it was black people. So we don't deserve reparations because we sold ourselves. There's a little bit of truth in that. The slave trade was one of the biggest economy boomers at the time. If you capture somebody from another tribe or from a different land, you can sell that person for money. That's just how it was. People sold their slaves. However, when you come and you create a treaty, when you come and you create a contract, when you come and you create a deal with someone, and you'd say, I'm going to give you guns to help fight against these local tribes because they're whooping our butts and we don't know the jungle. We don't know how to beat them, but you do. You have a very good army here. And the only thing you need is guns, something they all don't have. And that's definitely going to put you over the edge of winning this war. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you these guns. We're going to send you out here to fight these wars. And of course, these African tribes did very well by conquering and taking over their tribes that was around them, surrounding tribes that was around them, communal tribes that was around them that they had war problems with. They went in and executed their job, won these wars, brought these captures of war, took them and sold them. Here you go. Take these people that we already don't get along with. They've been killing us. We've been killing them. Okay, now that we done got rid of them, we can live in harmony without the enemy. And one day, once the Europeans felt that the numbers are low enough and we can take them, not to mention only are the numbers low enough and we can take them, because remind you, all the tribes that was around that probably could have band together to get rid of the Europeans now are been sent off. They've been captured by their own brothers. But we're enemies, though. Remind you, we have our own internal conflict. Now that they're going, it's just us. We went from a couple of million to a couple of 100,000. Now we're manageable. So when they come and they say, okay, well, you know what? It's time for you guys to get on the boat. And they say, wait, I thought we had a peace treaty. They said, no, 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 no. We just needed you to take care of all the heavy lifting. Now that that's done, go ahead and get on the boat. And they said, no, we're not. And we're going to fight you. We got guns too. And they said, yeah, you got guns, but not with switches. It's called the maximum gun. A little bit of a twist and a little bit of this, and they were just mowing them down while they were still over there trying to pour some gunpowder and put a marble in. They would just. It's called the maximum gun. They had better artillery. Yes, they gave them guns, but not the best guns. And so they came in with the good guns, and they killed and they took them. And from that day forward, every African that was taken out of Africa was stolen. Stolen. They wasn't paid for. The agreement they had to buy and trade was broken. And now they're just in Africa stealing women, children, and men. Yeah. Women, children, and men. And then when they brought them to America, they created cattle slavery. Yeah. What about the rapes that happened? What about the eating of the slaves that happened? What about the rape of the children that happened? Mr. Tatum, you need to have a reality check, sir. You just need to have a reality check that what you're saying is very damaging because it's a lie. It's all a lie. And for you to sit there and act like it's normal for white folks to be able to be so evil because each and every one isn't, you try to say that it doesn't exist. I really want you to just stumble into a KKK rally, a real thorough one. I mean, with the real ones. I want you to stumble in there and just let them talk to you and tell you how they feel about you. I appreciate you guys for watching. Go ahead and tap into Uncle Willie's page. If you haven't tapped into Uncle Willie, man, got some good content. He's been doing a lot of covering on this Nolan Wells case. And yeah, that's where I be at. I rarely watch who I react to because I'm not promoting everybody. Some people be on bullshit and I ain't promoting that shit. But Willie D, he definitely a good dude. I used to listen to the Ghetto Boys. I like his story about him and Bushwick Bill, this little crazy ass midget dude that was crazy back in. He was with the Ghetto Boys too. Mine playing tricks on me. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Go check out Big Homie Willie D page if you done. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button, man. I appreciate y'all. Squad, we up out of here. Into the next one. All right.